So good afternoon all. Okay, so let us start the session. So what we discussed in our previous class? In our previous class, we discussed about looping, some example programs so related to branching, and in the last class we start looping. In looping, we discuss about for loop also. In today class, we are going to discuss about while loop, and we are going to write the programs. So today agenda is we are going to discuss about looping statement while. I hope you all know that what is looping. And so previous class we discussed about one looping statement for. In today class we are going to discuss about while. Okay, and after that we are going to write the example programs. 137. Any doubts? 137. Raise your hand. Okay. If you have any doubts, place your doubts in the chat box. So last 5 minutes or 10 minutes, we are going to discuss about your doubts. Okay. So looping statement. We are going to discuss about the while and some example programs in today class. Okay. So what is looping? So what is looping? You are going to execute some set of instructions until a condition is false. If this condition is false, you exit from this loop, otherwise you are going to execute these instructions. So that we are called as looping. So looping is nothing but execute set of statements until the condition becomes false. Okay, coming to while loop. While loop also same. The while loop is useful to execute a group of statements several times repeatedly, depending on whether a condition is true or false. Whether a condition is true or false. The syntax is you are going to use while space condition. You write the statements here. Okay, so for example, in previous class we write one program to print numbers from 1 to 10. 1 to 10. How we write the program? For I in range of 1 comma 11, print I. So what is the output? It prints the numbers from 1 to 10. So 1 to 10. Now the similar program, how we can write with the help of while condition. So for loop you are going to use the sequence data type here. In this place you are going to use the sequence data type. Sequence data type. But coming to while, here you specifies that a condition. The same program. So how we can convert into the while loop with the help of the while loop means, so what is the condition here? We are going to take a number and the number starting value equals to 1 and the ending value is 10. That means, so while you are going to print the condition n, so less than or equals to 10, less than or equals to 10, you are going to print the n value, and every time after printing you are going to increment the n value, n plus 1. Okay, so n equals to the initial value, so n less than or equals to 10 is the condition. You are going to execute this set of instructions until this condition is false. Until this condition is false. Okay, I hope you all are understand the while structure. Just wait. Now in today class, we are going to write the programs for these problems. Okay. So what is the first problem? So program. Yes, wait. Yes. So program to display numbers from 1 to 10 using while loop. So first we are going to write the help of for loop. So range of 1 comma 11. Print I. So print I. You save this program. Okay, so this is the output. We print numbers from 1 to 10 with the help of for loop. So same program we are going to write with the help of while loop. How? Initially the n equals to 1. So while the condition, what is the condition here? N less than or equals to 10 and print n value. That's it. So n equals to 1. So while n less than 10, so print n. Sorry, we forget to write increment operator here. N equals to n plus 1. N equals to n plus 1. Now this is the output. So this is the output we get because of this for loop. Second output with the help of while. Okay. So now we are going to see another program. So this is the code for this. So program to display numbers 1 to 10 using while loop. So x equals to 1, initial value of x. So while x less than or equals to 10, we are going to print and we are going to increment the x value. Okay. So next one, so next program. So this is the program to display the multiplication table. To display multiplication table. So how we are going to write multiplication table? So multiplication table is nothing but, so for example, so 7 table. So for example 7. So 7 into 1 equals to 7. So 7 into 2 equals to 14. So 7 into 3 equals to 21 and so on. So 7 into 10 equals to 70. I'm going to read this n value. For example, I read 8, then it's going to display 8th table. If I read 10, it displays 10th table. 10 into 1, 10 into 2, 10 into 3 and 10 into 10. Okay, so now we are going to write the program to display the multiplication table. For that, so first you are going to read a number from the keyboard. Okay. So first you are going to read n value. So n equals to input, enter a number. So it is a number. So we convert this into integer. So whatever you are going to read from the keyboard, that is in the form of string. So you convert the string into number. So now you are going to print the multiplication for I in. I want to print a multiplication table from 1 to 10. So I give the initial value is 1 and the last value is 10. So you specify as a 11. The range, I hope you all are remember the range. So start, stop. So for 111, So what it returns? It returns the numbers from 1 to 10. So after that you are going to print, say n value, I value, n into I value. First we are going to execute this. Okay, enter a number. For example, I enter 7. So what it display? 7 1 7, 7 2 14, 7 3 21, 7 4 28, 7 10 70. Now I want to display the output like this: 7 into 1 equals to 7, 7 into 2 equals to 14. Now how we write this program? In previous classes we discussed about output formatting. Here the output format is, here we are going to use the multiplication symbol, that are x. Here you are going to give equals to symbol. So we write like this: so print percentage d space, so this is the capital X, space, so percentage d equals to percentage d, and we are going to use this percentage symbol. So formatting. Okay, output formatting. If you execute, if I enter 7, now it displays, so 7 into 1 equals to 7, 7 into 2 equals to 14, like this. Okay, so anybody have any doubts in these two programs? So why? Okay, so now we move to next program. So next program, here, so program to find the factorial of a number. Program to find factorial of a number. Okay, so factorial of a number is nothing but, for example, 4 factorial. 4 factorial. So what is 4 factorial? So 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. So 1 into 2 2, 2 into 3 6, 6 into 4 24. So 24 is the answer. Similarly, 5 factorial. 5 factorial. That means into 5. 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So 1 into 2 2, 2 into 3 6, 6 into 4 24, 24 into 5 120. That means 5 factorial, that is 120. 6 factorial means into 6, it is 720. Okay, here, so for example, I enter a number 0, or I enter a number minus 10. If I enter a number 4, here we get 3 cases. 3 cases. So what is the first case? If whatever I enter a number from the keyboard, maybe it is a negative number. For negative number, there is no factorial. If it is 0, so what is the factorial for 0? So what is the 0 factorial? So what is 0 factorial? What is 1 factorial? 1 factorial is 1. So 2 factorial is 2. So 3 factorial is 6. So 4 factorial is 24. So what is 0 factorial? Anyone please give the response in the chat box. So what is 0 factorial? Yes, 0 factorial is 1. So 0 factorial is 1. So how? So for example, 24 by 3, we got 6. Okay, 6 by, here 6 by 3, we got 2. So 24 by 4, sorry. So 24 by 4, 6. 6 by 3, 2. So 2 by 2, 1. So 1 by 1 equals to 0 factorial, that is 1. So 0 factorial is also 1. Okay. So another case is positive number. So for these positive numbers, we are going to find the factorial. For this positive numbers, we are going to find the factorial. Okay. If you observe that, we get three cases. One is we are going to find the number is negative number, and second one, if it is a 0, directly no need of any calculation, you are going to print the number 1. And if it is positive number, then you are going to find the factorial. Okay, so now I hope you all are know the condition for this. So how we can find a number is positive number or not, or negative number? If the number, so for example, this is the n. If this n is so less than 0, if the n is less than 0, so directly you are going to print a message, please enter a positive number. Okay, so else if n equals to 0, then you are going to print that the factorial of 0 is 1. You direct a print, you are going to write a print message. Now if it is a positive number, if it is positive number, for example, I enter 4. Everyone, so please concentrate. So these are the basic programs. If you aware of all these things, in 1 or 2 months you are going to write normal hacker rank programs. Okay, in all the programs we are going to use the similar logics only, okay. If you are aware of these all these logics, you are going to write programs very easily in future. Okay, so for example, it is a positive number. So what is the factorial of 4? So 1 into 2 into so 3 into 4, we got 24 as an answer. Okay, so now we are going to store this answer in a one variable first, fact. Initially I am taking this value as a 1. Okay, that means in this variable, in this fact variable, I am going to store the answer. Okay, here, so this is the n value. So if it is n, you are going to write the sequence. If it is 5, 1 2 3 4 5. If it is 10, 1 2 3 4 up to 10, that means this is the sequence. So here we are going to use one range function. So range of, so here this is the 4, so range of 1 comma 4. So range of 1 comma 4 means 1 in 1 2 3 4. Sorry, here you are going to take n plus 1. So 1 into 5, that means it returns 1 2 3 4. Okay, here every time I'm going to write only one instruction, that is fact, the content in this fact into this one. So 1 into 1, and again I store in this fact only. That means I write like this, fact equals to fact into, I'm using some variable I, for example I in fact into I. In first iteration, what is I value? 1. In second iteration, 2. In third iteration, 3. And fourth iteration, 4. Now, so 1 into 1, 1, that is stored in the fact. In next iteration, 2. 1 into 2, that is stored in the fact. In next iteration, 2 into 3, 6, that is stored in the fact. Next iteration, 6 into 4, so 24 is stored in this fact. Okay, so sequence and. So you are going to print this fact value. So whatever the value in the fact, so that is the factorial of that number. Okay, this is the logic. Now we are going to convert this logic into program. Okay, now this is the program. So now we are going to write this program. So program to find some factorial of a number. So for that we are going to read one n value. So n equals to int of input, enter a number. Okay, I'm taking one variable fat equals to 1. If n less than 0, if the whatever the value you are going to read from the keyboard, if it is negative number, factorial does not exit for negative number. And else if n equals to 0, print. So directly I'm going to print, so factorial of 0 is 1. So else it is a positive number. Now it is a positive number. So here I am going to write for I in range of, so range of 1 to n plus 1. You are going to take n plus 1 here. And every time fact equals to fact into I. And after this, after completion of this loop, you are going to print the factorial value. Factorial of n is fact. That's it. Okay, this is the program. The first step is you are going to read the number and initialize the fact equals to 0. Here you don't initialize fact as 0. Okay, if it is 0, the entire expression will be 0. 0 into 1, 0, 0 into 2, 0, 0 into 3, 0, like that. So initialize this as a fact. When you are going to perform any multiplication, you are going to use the initialization value as a 1. If you are going to perform any addition operations, then you are going to initialize that value with a 0. Okay, now first we execute this program. So enter a number. I enter 6. So factorial of 6 is 720. If I enter a number, so minus 10, so factorial does not exit. If I give factorial of a number, for example 0, so factorial of 0 is 1. Okay, I hope everyone understand so how to find the factorial of a given number. Okay, here I give 0, displays factorial of 0 is 1. Here I give, so enter a number 6, now it displays factorial of 6 is 720. So enter a number minus 10, it returns factorial does not exist. Exists. Okay, okay, so this is about how to find subfactorial. So now we are going to see another program. Here the program is to find sum of digits in a number. Sum of digits in a number. So first we discuss about the problem. So program to find the sum of digits in a number. What it means? If I read, just wait. If I read 1, 5, 6. So 1, 5, 6. So what is the sum of these digits? Everyone please give the response in the chat box. If I give the input 156 for this problem, so 156 means everyone please give the response in the chat box. Yes. So 12 is the answer. How we are saying the 12? The sum 1 plus 5 plus 6. Okay. So that is equals to 12. Okay. So for that, what is the first instruction? You are going to read the value. you are going to read the value from the keyboard, and here I am taking the answer into a variable yes. So in previous example, I store the answer in a variable. The variable name is fact. I initialize fact equals to 1. Here I initialize the s equals to 0. Why? In previous program you are going to do multiplication. So 1 into 1. Next iteration. So 1 into 2. Next iteration 2 into 3, like that. But here you are going to perform addition operation. Addition. So we are going to initialize this s with 0. Otherwise, if we get 12, we get 13 as answer. Okay, why? Initially you are taking s equals to 1. If you initialize the fact is 0, then the final answer will be 0. Why? 0 into 1, 0. 0 into 2, 0. 0 into 3, 0. Like that. Okay, that's why when you are going to do multiplication, then you are going to initialize that variable with 1, and when you are doing any addition, then you are going to initialize that variable with 0. Okay, that's it. Now see, so this is the 156. 156. So now, so how we find the digits of this number? So for example, 156. For that, we all are say that what is the sum of these digits means, you say that 1 plus 5 plus 6. Another alternative way is 6 plus 5 plus 1 also. 6 plus 5 plus 1. That means here I am going to divide this number with 10. Now I find the remainder. What is the remainder here? 6. So I add this 6 to some variable. Next again I check that the number is greater than 0 or not. Yes, 15 is greater than 0. So I take 15 and again I divide this 15 with 10. Now we got the remainder 5. Again I add this 5 to this sum. And again 1. So 1 is also is greater than 0. So again I perform division operation. That means to find the remainder. So 1 percentage 10, that is 1. So 1 is added to sum. Okay, after that, so 1 by 10, that is 0. So 0 greater than 0 false. Okay, at that time some value is stored in this s. The s is the answer here. The s is the answer. Okay, now we see one by one. So 156. Just wait. So first the number 156. So you are going to perform modulus operation on this 156. So what we got? We get 6 as an answer, and we we divide this 156 by 10. What is the answer? 15. Now we check this number is greater than 0 or not. Yes, it is greater than 0. So again you are going to take this number and perform, try to find the remainder, and it is 5. Again 15 by 10, you got 1, and you check whether this is greater than 0. So again you are going to perform 1 percentage 10, 1 by 10. So 1 percentage 10 is 1, 1 by 10 is 0. Now here 0 greater than 0 false. Okay, so this is the logic. So 156, and so meanwhile whenever you are going to find this remainder, you are going to add this remainder to this sum. That's it. Okay, now you see one more time. So n equals to 156 here. You read the value from the keyboard, that is 156. So s equals to 0. So n 156 is greater than 0. 156 greater than 0. It is true. So enter into the block, perform 156 percentage 10, 6, and update the n value. N equals to n by 10. This is the floor division. If you give n by 10, then we get float as an answer, float. So for example 5.0 like this, but here we are going to take only integer value. So perform the floor division, n equals to n by 10, that is 15. Every time you are going to add this last digit to this sum. So s plus ld. Okay, so now we are going to write this program. What is the first step? You are going to read n value, int of input, enter a number. Okay, so next initialize the s value, s equals to 0. While n greater than 0, you are going to do these operations, last digit, or you can write d, whatever it is. These are variable names, and n equals to n by 10. Here you are going to use the floor division. So first we are going to do what happened if I am using the division operator, and s equals to s plus the digit, last digit of the number, and finally you are going to print the sum equals to. Okay, if I give 156, if I give 156, so what it displays? Sum equals to 13 point something. So why? What is the actual output? Actual output is 12, but it returns 13 point something. So y means here I am using the division operation. First we are going to see what happened if we are using this slash. So 156. So just wait. Just wait 1 second. If I give 156, so this is the sum. So why we get this 13.33 means here this is the division operation. The output is floating value. So here we are going to take only integer value. So you are going to write the floor division. Okay. So now we execute the same program. If I give 156, now it returns 12. We execute one more time. If I give 1 2 3 4, now displays 10. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, 10. Okay. So print n value. If you observe that, what is the n value here? So first it is 1 2 3 4, second 1 2 3, second 1 2 and 1, and it is 0. Then the loop will be terminated. Okay. So next program. So program to print Fibonacci sequence. So Fibonacci sequence. So what is Fibonacci sequence? So Fibonacci sequence is nothing but, here we are going to specify some terms. For example, so this is the Fibonacci series. The Fibonacci series starts from 0 and 1. What is the first term? The first term is 0. The second term is 1. Okay, for example, if I enter here the how many terms? If I enter 8, then what is the expected output? 0 1. Now the Fibonacci series means 0 plus 1. What is the output? 1. The next term is 1. So what is the next term? Addition of these two. 1 plus 1, 2. What is the next term? So 1 plus 2, 3. What is the next term? 2 plus 3, 5. Next term, 3 plus 5, 8. So next term, so 5 plus 8, 13. So that means if you enter 8, so how many terms? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It displays 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 8, 13 as output. If I enter 8 as a number of terms. Okay, this is the Fibonacci series. So Fibonacci series is nothing but it starts from 0 and 1. The first two terms are 0 and 1. So after that you are going to perform addition 0 plus 1 and it is 1. So what is the next term? You add 1 plus 1. This is 2. What is the next term? 2 plus 1. That is 3. So what is the next term? 3 plus 2, 5. Okay. Now, so how we solve this problem? In first instruction, the first instruction is you are going to read the value. You are going to read the value from the keyboard. So it is a number. So the number may be negative number. Okay, so negative number. So that means if it is less than 0, then you are going to display a message enter a positive number. And you check that if enter the number is 1, the only the 1. So for example, this is the series. Here I enter 8. So the output is 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. If I enter the number of terms is 1, then what is the output? Expected output. Everyone please give the response in the chat box. If I enter a number 1, then how many terms you are going to print? How many terms we are going to print? How many terms you are going to print? If we give 1, so what is the expected output? If I give 1, so how many terms for this? If I give 1, so what is the expected output? If I give 1, then it displays only 0. Then it displays only 0. If I give 8, now it displays 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. That means 8 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers. If I give 1, it prints only one number. What is the number? 0. 0 is the output. Okay, this is the another case. So this is another case. And next one is, for example, if I enter 8, then you are going to perform the Fibonacci series logic. You are going to execute the Fibonacci series. What is the first one? If it is negative number, it is negative number. Then you are going to write one message that enter a positive number. If it is only 1, then you are going to print only the first value. So you are going to write, you are going to print the only first number. So print the n1. Here is specifying the first number as n1. Otherwise you are going to write the logic. Okay, now we see this logic. So for example, I enter 5. So what is the expected output? Everyone please give the response in the chat box. If I give the number of terms is 5, then what is the expected output? The first terms are always 0, 1. That means 2 terms. The next term is 1. The next term is 2. The next term is 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. So what is the expected output? 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. Yes. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. Yes, correct. So initially we are going to take these values. This is the n1. So this is the n2. Okay. So every time you are going to print the value. So first I print 0. 0. In next iteration, I am going to find the next one. So that means this is the next one. So That means n1 plus n2, n1 plus n2. So that is stored in a variable next. Here I write a variable next. So next equals to n plus n2. And after storing this, I interchange these values. So n1 equals to n2. That means now this 1 becomes n1 and the n2 is, so the next value is n2. Okay. And we repeat this loop until the terms. How many terms? And we are taking the initially a value count. And here, whenever you are printing the 0, the count is incremented by 1. And after 1, if I print 1, the count is incremented by 2. After 1, the count is incremented by 3. And if I enter 5, that means this count is less than this 5. Then you are going to print the values. Okay, this is the condition. So now we are going to check. We are going to execute the program. So initially you are going to read the n value only. So I write here terms, n terms. How many terms you need? Equals to int of, here I change the message, how many terms. Okay. So after that, I am taking two variables, n1 comma n2, and n1 equals to 0, n2 equals to 1. I am taking one variable count equals to 0. So if n terms is less than or equals to 0, less than or equals to 0, then you are going to print a message, enter a positive integer, enter a positive integer. Else if n terms equals to 1, if the n term equals to 1, now we are going to print the Fibonacci sequence up to n terms. And I print only first value only. Okay, here I am taking two values, n1, n2 equals to 0, 1. If I enter the number of terms as a 1, then I am going to display only n1. Okay, now else, another case. So I display a message, Fibonacci sequence. Okay, here I am going to write program logic. So while count, so count less than n terms. So what we are going to print? We are going to print n1 and interchange the values. So next equals to n1 plus n2. Now n1 equals to n2 and n2 equals to next. That's it. And increment the count value. Count equals to count plus 1. That's it. So enter how many terms? If I enter 8, now it displays 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. How many numbers? 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. If I give so minus 10, now it display a message, enter a positive integer. If I give 1, now it display, so Fibonacci sequence up to 1 is 0. Okay, so in this way you are going to write the program to print Fibonacci sequence. Okay, so this is about today class. In tomorrow class we are going to see some more programs so related to branching and looping. In tomorrow class we are going to discuss about the remaining statements, the break and continue also. Okay, so anybody have any doubts in today class? So anybody have any doubts in today class? Okay. So thank you all. So we meet in tomorrow class. Anybody have any doubts? Raise your hand. I wait some time. Okay. Okay. Thank you all.